Before we start, I would want you to hit that red subscribe button so you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to COD Central TV. Here are 10 of the worst maps in the history of COD. Number 10, Wasteland, Modern Warfare 2. There is undeniable beauty and simplicity. With that said, a bit too much simplicity went into this map from Modern Warfare 2. It sounds like a cool idea, a nasty little chunk of real estate near irradiated Chernobyl in which teams are put into a field, at the center of which there is a small tunnel area in which most of the fighting takes place. Unfortunately, the map is a sniper's paradise with only one place in which any decent combat takes place. It is beyond frustrating, and while it isn't the worst map the franchise has ever seen, it is seldom a pleasure to play for anyone involved and usually just ends up padding the stats of anyone lucky enough to catch opponents off guard. Number 9, Metro, Black Ops 3. While we had our minds blown away by the single player and had a great time playing the multiplayer modes in Black Ops 3, there are a couple of maps that really could have been taken out of the game with no loss of experience. We'll give a dishonorable mention to Redwood and Stronghold here, but in our humble opinion, not humble at all, Metro is by far the worst map in this game. Like a few other terrible games in this list, a train station in Zurich sounds like it could make a very decent playing experience, but the execution was awful. The 3-lane design is absolutely butchered on this map, and the sloppy design ruins the map. Number 8, Countdown, Modern Warfare. We get why they included Countdown as a map in Modern Warfare. They wanted maps that emulated levels in the game, and the scenery of a launch pad worked. Unfortunately, the map was and still is terrible. There is next to no opportunity for anything other than long-range engagements. There are no different levels of sight worth mentioning, as the entire map is basically one big flat nightmare. It is comprised of the launch pad itself, with missiles and other ordnance strewn about it, as if the site's commanding officer got tired and started telling his soldiers to rearrange the base. The map is a Call of Duty equivalent of a large dog turd with flags and sparklers sticking out of it. Number 7, Stonehaven, Ghosts. Even the most loyal and forgiving fans of this franchise will admit that Ghosts was just plain bad. The campaign, which we already mentioned, was ambitious, but so is humping an alligator. In summation, just because something is ambitious, that doesn't automatically make it a good idea. With regard to this map in particular, there was too much space and too much going on. This map was large enough that we could have probably had a better time with teams of 10, or the map could have been cut in half for the usual teams of 6 in TDM. While not unpleasant aesthetically, this map just wasn't fun to play. Number 6, Freefall, Ghosts. Coming up with crappy map choices from that title is like shooting fish in a burrow with the Odin Space Station. Freefall takes place in a skyscraper that has seen better days. In fact, as you play through this map, parts of the building shift and collapse, changing the map. The part is kind of a cool gimmick, but given the fact that the design is poor, the lighting of this nighttime mission makes it look like you're fighting an obnoxious dance club. And there is just no way for anyone to actually enjoy this obnoxious excuse for a map. Number 5, Fuel, Modern Warfare 2. Fuel is a large map that is so large and poorly designed that it actually makes Wasteland look okay by comparison. Here's the saving grace for Wasteland, if there is one. At least there is a central point in the middle of which there is almost always some action. The same cannot be said of Fuel. About 2/3 of the actual land on this map is wasted, and if you happen to spawn at the top of the map, you may want to eat a power bar because it's an inexcusably long trip to get back to the buildings where all the fighting actually takes place. Derail is another large MW2 map that suffers from a similar problem, but even it was at least playable compared to Fuel. Number 4, Downturn, Modern Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 3 is the weakest of the 3 in the series. The same can be said of the multiplayer experience, unfortunately, and while most all the maps fall somewhere between passable and pretty good, there is one that stands out from the rest as an absolute garbage heap. Carbon and Outposts are also pretty poor, but Downturn looks like it was designed by a child with no attention span. It's one of the few maps you can play over and over again and still have no idea where you are. While the idea of fighting in a destroyed Wall Street environment is awesome, the development of this map was brutal. It almost looks like someone in the development team got blind drunk one night and destroyed every piece of furniture in their home, took pictures instead of their coworkers. Okay guys, let's do this, but making a map for Modern Warfare 3. Number 3, Genesis, Infinite Warfare. Genesis is a multiplayer map for Infinite Warfare that features the Grey Cube Dynamics location. It is relatively small and offers not much other than some potential for decent CQB. Here's our problem. It demonstrates some laziness on the part of the developer, because the design of the map is virtually identical to 2 others, Strike Zone in Ghost and Dome in Modern Warfare 3. Here's the problem. Neither of those maps were good enough to warrant updated versions with some aesthetic changes. Number 2, Carrier, Black Ops 2. Carrier is almost unanimously hated by fans, and there are plenty of reasons. Like so many other maps on this list, Carrier is a decent idea, and Treyarch tried to do something somewhat unconventional. It should be applauded for taking the risk of having a map on an aircraft carrier, but the end result is an unpleasant map with a camper problem. Adding insult to injury, the different levels on one side of the map that are atrociously designed are terrible. Furthermore, the obstacles all over the map seems to be based off a child's messy room. Take away about 1/3 of these obstacles and there would be some potential for something other than CQB, but alas, that's not an option and we're left with this joke of a map. Number 1, Crysis, Black Ops. Crysis was another kind of terrible. Despite being a massive map that took an absurd amount of time to cross, the half of the map that had buildings somehow managed to feel unpleasant and almost claustrophobic. In a case of much the opposite, the other half of the map was a mostly empty beach that didn't support any kind of game plan aside from that one sniper who just hangs out for the whole match and gets 3 kills. We imagine this map was named as it was because every time the players saw it, it was up next, they faced a crisis of whether or not to back out and find another game or bite the bullet and be angry for a round. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like on the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. With that, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.